Hello YouTubers and gamers, I'm back and today is a pickup video and as usual got a fair mix of different things, both games and peripherals and accessories and bits and bobs. So let's make a start. First of all, start off with an Amiibo. I managed to pick up one Amiibo from Wave, is it Wave 6 now? And I managed to pre-order this from Amazon. It was the only one I was able to pre-order, and that's Wario. Now, I know there's tons and hundreds and thousands of whatever videos on the Amiibos, and I realise that a lot of people are getting sick to death of them and getting fed up with trying to collect them, because unless you are able to pre-order them within minutes of the shops having them available or whatever, there's no chance of bloody getting the things. Club Nintendo already you've sold out a chance of getting any Wave 7 ones, never mind getting more Wave 6 ones, and there's about 3 or 4 I wanted a Wave 6. And last Friday, first day they got released, I went round all the shops in my area. Went to Smith's toy shop and they said that they sold out within 5 minutes of a store opening. And so pretty much I had no chance, because like most people I've got to work for a living. And nowhere else had any of them. They had a few. I did see a few more Warios, but that's about it really, and none of the other ones. So I'm just fucking sick to death with Nintendo for doing this. I know you'll say, oh, it's down to a scalper's fault. Well, actually, Nintendo can get around scalpers like every other manufacturer does. If you look at Skylanders and so forth, this problem, even though there are some rare Skylanders and so forth, it's nowhere near as bad as Amiibos, and that's down to the fact that Nintendo aren't getting the supply out there. Also, what Nintendo can also do is limit the supply in certain ways. What they can do is, for example, when the games are, when they get a stock in, right, some of them go to all the shops, and after that, every month, you can only get them through, a Nintendo store. And Nintendo can reassure people that they will keep bringing out new ones for any back orders. Now, if they did that, and people were confident that they can order it from Nintendo on a back order and it'll be released, it may take a couple of months or whatever, but it will happen. Then all the scalpers will be out of business, because unless, apart from a few desperate people who want to get them straight away, but most people will be happy to wait another month or two and not pay the scalper's price. So I think Nintendo are just stoking up this whole Amiibo craze. They really are, and it's it's a short-sightedness. I mean, who can afford to spend £50 on an Amiibo? Who wants to spend £50 on an Amiibo? No one does. And a lot of people love Nintendo. I love Nintendo. I love the devices, but I do not love what they're doing. There's lots of kids out there who actually like these Amiibos and want to collect them all, but they've got no chance in hell of collecting them all. If some of them are, most of them are going for about £50 each now, apart from the first wave, the older ones and so forth. So what hope have they got to get these Amiibos? It's Nintendo are just seeing short-term profits of selling their existing stock. They're not realising that if little Billy had £50 birthday money, would he get one Amiibo, or would he just not bother and get other things? He'd probably get other things, won't he? But also, if these Amiibos were actually in good supply, and he could actually get 5 of them for his £50, then that's one happy little Nintendo fan, isn't it? So I was thinking that I think Nintendo need to look beyond their nose and look at along the bigger picture really, and that if some scalpers get these and sell them for 50 quid. Nintendo aren't making any more money out of it, are they? What's happening is the scalpers are taking money out of families and gamers like myself who would otherwise buy more Nintendo crap and more games and so forth if we had the money. So for those people out there who start collecting Amiibos and say, well, I'm out of it, I'm getting out of it, I totally sympathise with you, totally sympathise. However, the way I see it is, are you just sort of, biting your own nose off to spite your face type thing to get rid of your whole collection, because they're still desirable things. And so I think if you set out to get an entire collection, then I think good for you, but I think you're being very ambitious. For me, I just wanted to get some of the ones that I actually wanted, and some of them I've opened to play with, some I'll keep them boxed. I think there's about I must have about 20 odd of these things, and so like this one here, I will be opening this one to play with. You know, it's not going to be in a, you know, a shrine or anything. This is one to be used. But there's other ones I want to get, like, you know, Zero Suit Samus and Dark Pit and stuff like that, which I'm, you know, I may keep box. Samus more so. Dark Pit I may open it again. I don't know, but as if I ever get to bloody buy the things, which is very doubtful at the moment. So Nintendo, I am peed off with you with what you're doing to the Amiibo craze. You're just stoking up the fire. You're making it worse. And even though you think, oh, we're selling out all our stock, well, actually, you can still do that if you just, you know, released your supply down to your Nintendo store, and where actual real fans and the families actually buy the bloody things as opposed to the scalpers. Because, you know, like I say, if you reassure people, don't worry, we'll get more stock in each month. You know, it's not going to be a case you're going to have excess stock piling up. You're not, because, you know, there's loads of fans out there still. So, you know, anyway, that's my rant about Amiibos, and, you know, let me know what you think in the comments by all means. But I just think, you know, they're great toys. They're a little bit overpriced on a retail price, but the, you know, the scalping price is just mad. It's really, really ridiculous. If you look at how much, you know, Skylanders go for and everything else, really, you know, £7 for a typical small figure of this size, that's a reasonable price, I think, you know. Whereas, what, you know, what Nintendo are asking for, you know, £10.99 or £15 in game, you know, they are a bit expensive, but £50? Come on, you know, don't be fucking kidding. You know, you're bloody, you know, I know you say it's supply and demand and everything else. Well, people who think the supply and demand is great, then, well, that normally works when there's competition. And there isn't much competition. You know, there's about half a dozen, there's probably about a dozen scalpers out there who buy up the entire stock or whatever, and, you know, everyone can't they go get the things. But anyway, I'm sort of ranting and raving. Okay, let's move away from Amiibos and move on to something more interesting. Games. Okay, so what games have I got here? I've got them all piled up, so I'm probably not going to do them in any particular order, but got a DS game, Star Wars Clone Wars. I'm not too mad on this Clone Wars cartoon. The actual original one by Cartoon Network, which is much more superior to this later Clone Wars animation. But, you know, it's a Star Wars game, so I thought I might as well get it. It wasn't a lot of money, I think it was about £5. One for Vita Collection, Rayman Legends, I think that was about £12 in CX. Whilst also in CX they had, I needed to get another Vita memory card, 8GB, and these are things are bloody expensive normally. Normally about £20, I paid about £12 for that in CX, all new and sealed, so I thought that's good. I've actually ordered from Amazon the PS Vita TV because it's gone down so much in price now. It's at half price, it's £45, which is a great price. And anyone out there who's thinking of getting a Vita, well, just get yourself a Vita TV. I know not all the games are compatible, but most of them are. So I'm quite pleased to have that, you know, rigged up to a telly and so forth, like my, you know, like I do with the Retron 5 and things. So it's good to, you know, I'm quite happy to have that, and I'll probably play the games more if it's on a telly. Okay, moving on to some retro game, the SNES. This is all boxed and complete. Not bad condition. Super Mario World. I paid about, I can't remember now. It's I think it was about £20 or something like that for it. It wasn't a lot more. Maybe it might be a little bit less, might be a little bit more. Okay, here I've got a PS3 game. It's it came out last year. This actually edition, this collector's edition, is goes for a lot of money still on Amazon. When it was first released, I think it was about £50, and now it's about £60. So it's actually gone up in value, which is quite unusual for collector's editions. But I was lucky enough to actually see one in this UK store game, and with a lot of their collector's edition, they have them the same price. Well, I mean, second-hand ones. This is they have them the same price whether it's like a standard edition or collector's edition, and it's the same price with this one. And it's all complete. And this is Assassin's Creed Rogue, and that's all complete with all the contents. And so I got that for £22. Now, if it was just a standalone game, I wouldn't have bought that for that money. I'll just wait until I can get it for a tenner. But to get this collector's edition for that money, I thought that was bloody good, considering when it first came out it was 50 quid. And so, you know, that's what I'm trying to do with a lot of collector's editions, just wait until I can see if I can get them second hand, unless I know that they're going to shoot up massively in value because there's such a short supply of these things, and I was lucky with that. I really was. Okay, moving on to got a couple of controllers actually to show you guys. This is a rare controller. You can use it with Sinclair Spectrums, Commodore computers, and even Atari, believe it or not, Atari 2600s and 5200s and stuff, I think. Well, maybe, well, more so with the older games because I only got one button. And this is all complete, all boxed. I've seen just loose controllers of this type go for about £35, £40 on eBay, but I was able to snag it on a bid and actually got it for £11 plus £3 postage or something. And this is for Alien 3. Yeah, believe it or not, there is a controller based on the shape of Alien from Alien 3. And it's made by Cheetah. And I don't really want to get it out of the box because I don't want to mess it up. But this this controller is probably the most uncomfortable thing in the planet. I don't know if you can see it, but there's the actual alien figure. And you can imagine how scaly and bony the figure is. And to have that on your hand for any enough time to actually play a game, it's a bit, it's like, you have to be a sadomasochist, I think, to play any games with any enough of this thing. But I'm an Aliens fan, as you probably picked up from other videos, and so to have this for £14 including shipping, I thought that was great. So I'm happy to have that in the collection. Moving on to another controller. There's been a number of interesting controllers coming out, GameCube controllers for the Wii U and Wii, and they licensed for the Wii U, although they're made by PDP, which, as you know, make a lot of controllers and so forth. And these ones are, they brought out ones for Mario and Peach and Luigi, Yoshi, which I've also got. They've also brought one for Donkey Kong, which looks neat, but I'm not that bothered about getting that because I'm not a massive Donkey Kong fan. But there's one for Metroid, the Samus, which I've also got ordered. That should be coming hopefully from Germany. And also got this one for Link, So it's nice to have a Zelda one, isn't it? If you look at it, it's, all the colours. There's the sort of Hyrule logo. So yeah, I think I got that for the retail price, which was about £18, which is the same as what I got for that Samus one, which is going from Germany on Amazon. So I'm quite pleased to have those. Something to go in the Zelda collection. Okay, I'll just try to sort these out a little bit. Okay, as you know, I've got quite a few UMD movies, and so there's a few, not many, but half a dozen I'm still after. And so, one of the ones I wanted was Chicken Run, made by Aardman Animation, the same people who did Wallace and Gromit. And it's got lots of great actors doing the voices, like Mel Gibson and Jane Horrocks and people. It's a very good, very entertaining film, and if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Okay, alright. Got a couple of... see, I've got an old PS2 game. I normally have a lot more than this, but I got one. It was only £1, nothing special, but it is made by Sega, and that's the reason why I made it. Why I picked it up. And it's called Let's Make a Soccer Team. It's got okayish reviews, but to be honest, I'm not a huge football fan, so I'll probably never play it. But it is Sega, and that's the main reason why I got it, and it was only £1 for a PS2. Okay, this game was also came out on the PS2, I believe, and Wii, and it's but this is probably the best version to watch it on in terms of picture quality and graphics, and that is Hot Wheels Beat That. I paid I'm trying to remember now. I think it was about £10 or £12 for this from CX. It usually goes for a bit more than that, about £16 on Amazon, so not the cheapest of Xbox 360 games, but it's not the most common either. For some strange reason it never came out on a PS3, so anyway. Okay, I've got a couple of Wii games. To go with the Crash collection, Crash of the Titans. I've also got this on the PS2 and also DS, I think. And another one that was on my list for a while. That game, what did I pay for that last game? Oh, I think it's about £8. Excuse me. Here's NBA Jam. A better series of games, basketball games, and I think that was about £6, that one on the Wii. So it's one of the not the too cheapest Wii games to get, but I was happy to pay those prices for those. They're not the most common games to see on out and about. Okay, moving on to more modern consoles. Well, kind of. The PS3. So picked up Persona 4. This is Arena Ultimax. The first Arena game came out with a soundtrack. This one doesn't. So this is like a sort of, you know, it's a bit like a Street Fighter game, I suppose. It's slightly, you know, slightly different to the original. But I like, it's nice to go with you know, Shin Megami Tensei collection and that lot. So that wasn't too much. I think it's about £14 in game. It was new. Okay, a soccer game. Again, I said don't pick up too many soccer games. And if it's even be like FIFA the year after, I just don't bother at all. But sometimes if it's a little bit different, I might be interested. And this is the case. This is one called Pure Football, and from what I can tell on the back, you know, you're playing rather smallish teams, and so it's a bit like street football, I guess. You know, some of those street football type games, and I prefer those actually, because it's, you know, less players to control and so forth, and usually it's a faster pace of game. When I was a kid, I never been a football fan. I never followed it, but I did enjoy playing football. And the most fun football to play when I was a kid was in small teams, especially like 5-a-side. And we used to do that inside sports halls, whereby you was allowed to play the ball off the wall. So you kick a ball against the wall, but we reflect back, and it's just high energy mayhem. And it's, you know, you have a goalkeeper, but basically the goalkeeper goes everywhere, and so it's like it's massive fun, and I used to love that as a kid, playing 5-a-side football. And so any game that's, you know, slightly similar to it, unfortunately you can't obviously deflect the ball off the wall on that one. Although there should be a video game where you can do that. You can actually kick a ball off walls and it bounces back, and it all adds additional you know, tactics to the whole game. I think that'd be great. Anyway, back to more games. Castlevania 2. This was I think this was about £8, not a lot of money. And then Borderlands, a pre-sequel. I think I got that for about £12. The next one. I got this for £3. It's one of those ones whereby it's, you know, it's an online multiplayer only. So I don't know if the server's still working, but it doesn't really matter because I don't really play online games. And I only got this to go in the collection, and it's DC Universe Online. Like I said, it's only £3. There is an instruction manual on disc and stuff, so it's complete. But you know, I'm never going to play it, to be honest. Okay, this other game is Grid 2. These grid games, racing games, are supposed to be quite good actually. So I think I got one of them on. Did it come out on the PS1, the first Grid, or was that PS3 still? Not PS1, PS2. Is it? Yeah, was there one? I don't know. I can't remember now. But yeah, that's for a collection. Again, that wasn't a lot of money. It was about £7 or £8, which is okay for PS3. Even though sometimes you can get really good deals on PS3 in some places. You can get for about £3, which is great. Okay, moving on to really recent consoles, I suppose, and that's the PS4. And I've got a few, got a couple of new games and a couple of used games. So first of all, let's look at the new ones. Actually, there's only one new one, and that is Tesla Grad. This is published by Sodesco, and they're bringing out lots of interesting games that are sort of almost like platform type games really, so old school style, but obviously with much more updated graphics, and the artwork on this looks pretty pretty actually. It looks yeah, so it reminds me of those games a bit like Limbo and that sort of thing. It's not like Limbo obviously in terms of black and white, but it's that sort of style and gameplay, and it wasn't a lot of money. It was about £14 in game, which is a little bit cheaper. You can get on Amazon. I think you can get it for £16 on Amazon. So I thought £14 for a PS4 game's not bad. Okay, I got a few second-hand games. These two games together were £30, and so that's Shadow Warrior, and that looks quite a fun little shooter, shooting monsters and demons and weird shit. And this next one's one of the best racing games on the PS4. You can also get it on Xbox One, I should say. I don't think it came out on the Xbox 360. It's supposed to be superior to Drive Club. I like Drive Club too, but this is a good game. This is a limited edition version, although these days the limited edition doesn't mean anything really, because the limited edition content is available to everybody, I think, now on this game. So that's a crew. Came up, there's a little leaflet inside, so it's all complete, and a lot of PS4 games don't come with leaflets. This Shadow Warrior doesn't come with a manual anymore, so it's in some ways it makes it easier for collectors like me, because then you don't need to worry about missing manuals. But in some ways, you still got to do your research to know if it did come out with a manual or not. So when all games have no manuals at all, then it'd be easier. Although I do like manuals as well. I think it's adds to the value of the thing, but it's one step closer to the future, which is going to be digital download only, isn't it? Really. So, and when that happens, I'll just replay my retro games and collect retro, so I don't mind. Alright, okay, these are collector's editions now, and I got this for a fair price. I think it was about £24, and that's Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Atlas Edition. This is all complete. It's very minty. Come with all DLC sheets. I haven't tried to see if I can download them yet or not. I will do. I'll do that today, I think. But no, that was all minty and complete, and that's only about £24, which is good for that game. There's a lot of shops that still want £20 odd just for a standalone edition. So to get that Atlas edition for that money is really good. Okay, now this game, this keeps its value, and in a steelbox edition, which is this is, you can pay a lot of money. Some people want about £40 or £50 for this, in higher. I actually managed to pick it up from CEX for £22, and it's all complete. It's in wonderful condition, and that is Shadow of Mordor, and as I said, it's a steelbook edition, which is slightly 3D. It is, and I've got all the Lord of the Rings games, so I'm quite pleased to have that. And this other one is to go with the Final Fantasy collection. It hasn't been out for that long, to be perfectly honest, and it was £27, but it is a steelbook edition, which only came out from, I believe, with Game, and that's where I got it from. It's it's literally right brand new. It's all complete. It's very well neat and stuff. So that is Final Fantasy Type O HD. Final Fantasy games do come up with some funny titles, don't they? Type O. Fantasy 10 strokes 10-2 and stuff like that. Oh well, maybe it's how it translates, maybe it's the Square Enix thing, I don't know. But yeah, another Final Fantasy game for a collection. Okay, did I miss anything out? I do believe I did. Hang on, I think they're just over here. Okay. Sorry about that. Last but not least, in my last pickup video that is, I picked up a repo copy of Demon's Crest. And the reason I got a repo one is, as you may have guessed, to get the original box and complete copy, you're looking at megabucks, about £270, which I think is way too much money for a SNES game. But to get a nice repo cart and a box and everything for about £36 in total, I thought that was a good value. Especially as it's a such a hard game. as you know, Demon's Crest is it's a final out of a trilogy of games. It's sort of a sub branch of, you know, ghouls and goblins and ghosts and goblins and that sort of thing. And the first game that came out, which I picked up recently, it didn't cost me too much money. I think it was about £26, including the shipping. And it's all boxed and complete in very good condition, and that is Gargoyle's Crest on the Game Boy. And it's not a repo. I've cleaned the disc. You know, I've cleaned the cart, taken it apart. It's all got the proper Nintendo chips and everything else. So I'm quite pleased to have that. And the sequel to that is the Gargoyle's Crest 2. I managed to pick up quite a nice copy of that. It's not perfectly mint or anything, but it is complete. It's got no missing parts. It's got a manual, and you know, the cart's got, you know, a label on the cart is pretty good. So as you can see, it's playing in the background. I don't know if you guys guessed that from the or not. And this game again goes for a lot of money. Some copies I see go as much as £180 complete, you know, with box and manual. I didn't want to pay that much, so I managed to get one on auction, and I've won it for about 117, which is the most I've ever spent on the NES game, I think. And so I've sort of pushed the budget on that one, but yeah, I probably could have bought Repo Box and the Repo Cart for about not as quite as cheap as the other Demon's Crest one, but I probably could have got them for about I don't know, about £45 maybe. But so I've spent a bit more on the original, and that's probably will be a most I would spend on a cart-based game. Yeah, I think the most I've spent on an old second-hand game was Sega Saturn's or Panzer Dragoon Saga, when I spent about £160. I have, yeah. When you sort of start spending that sort of money on a game, you've got to really think hard. Do I really want it? Because you compare it to what else you could buy with the same money in terms of other games for a collection, you can quite get up a lot. You can. So it was on the list, and I've been wanting to get these Gargoyle Crest games for a long time, and I thought I get them now while I can still get them for, you know, for a price that I can actually afford. I left it too late, obviously, with Demon's Crest, because it's just too much money. But with these two, I thought I might as well get them while I still can. And I think Gargoyle's Crest 2 on the NES, this one, that's not going to go down in value, is it? I think it will only rise and get even more expensive as small collectors like myself pick them up and keep them. Yeah, so guilty pleasure, yeah, and I'm curious to find out, guys. If you wish to leave a comment, just let me know what was the most you ever spent on an old retro game. I'm just curious to know what it was. Obviously, you know, yeah, you do have to think twice, don't you? Really, when you spend that sort of money on one game. So just don't tell the wife, eh? Okay, that's it, guys. Another thing which I picked up, which I'm going to show you at my next video, is quite a minty PS2 Slim console. I was in CEX on Saturday, and at the same time I was paying for something. A guy brought in a sort of almost like a very minty silver PS2 Slim, and you know, the silver PS2s aren't as common as obviously as the black ones, and to get one all complete in a box that looked pretty much unblemished, and from a distance that sort of did, I thought, oh, that's nice. Obviously it's a store I shop at a lot, and I weren't being a scumbag, and I weren't going to make him offer there and then and scalp the guy. So I thought I'd do a decent thing and let CEX, you know, buy it, and then I'll pay whatever CEX wants for it. And so that's a decent thing to do at the end of the day. And you know, if I saw the guy outside the store before he came in with hold his PS2 box, I might have said, oh, you're saying that, and I would have made him offer there before he went into the store. But he's in the store, and if he wants to search for CX credit, which I think he must have got too much for it, he might probably got about 20 quid for it, I guess. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll just wait, and I told them I asked them discreet at CX, you know, when that's all ready and stuff, it's been tested and checked, can you hold it for me and give me a phone call? And they did, and I picked it up on Sunday, and it was pretty minty. I paid about £42, which for a box PS2 Slim in this condition I thought was a fair price. You know, you can pay more than that on eBay. And it was almost perfect. There was hardly any scratches. There was one scratch to the top of the tray on the door, and a couple of small scratches on the bottom. But apart from that, that was it. And you know, I was wondering, I wonder if I can remove that scratch. And to people like Owen out there, hi Owen, if you're watching this, hello. I think you were saying in one of your videos it's about how people can be a bit OC and obsessed with getting like almost mint perfect copies of games and so forth. Well, I think, you know, I can share that to a certain extent with you on certain games. But also with consoles, if I can see a console, I'm thinking, I wonder if I can clean it up to make it look even better. I thought, great, you know. So I tried doing that with a silver PS2, and my advice to anybody doing that is be very, very careful what you do and don't do what I did. You can sort of guess straight away what I've done. I tried to remove that scratch on the top tray, and I was wondering, I wonder if teacup, well actually if I put a little bit of teacup, whether or not that will just take the scratch out. And it didn't. Instead it sort of nicely took out some of the paint around it, and as soon as I did it I thought, you fuckwit, why did you do that, you bugger, 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 bugger. It's my sort of 4 weddings and a funeral little quote there. Yeah, bugger, I thought. I really screwed that up, and I guess you can say it's pride before a fall or whatever else, you know. If I accepted it as it was and trying to do anything to it, it would have been fine, but instead I made it a lot worse, and it was like a, you know, a little thing, I don't know, about a little finger size little bit of paint removed from the top, the tray bit that opens up, the flap. So I thought, oh god, what a mess up, what can I do to try to repair this? So I thought, I know, okay. Do a bit of research, and I thought, how can I repair this? And there's no actual videos on anyone trying to repair silver PS2s or anything, not in terms of paintwork. And so I looked about how to paint plastics and so forth, and you know, given it's not a totally smooth surface, you know, I wouldn't need a primer because it's plastic, it's raining on plastics. I wouldn't need a primer because it is quite a rough surface, and so there's some T4 paint to stick in. Although they did recommend that I might want to spray some sort of sealer on top of it as well to give it a bit more protection. So I yesterday I bought some silver satin type paint along with some satin sealer, and taped it all up with tape all around the edges and so forth, and put a similar size sticker over on the top tray. There's a bit that says DVD and you know, all the other bits on top. It says, you know, in the very light silver there is, and so I didn't want to paint over that and lose that, so I put almost a similar size sticker over that to protect those bits on the top tray, and then I thought, well, I'll paint the rest the same colour, or as near the same colour as I could, and I did, and it came out actually quite very similar, almost a slightly different shade. It's slightly darker. No, it's also slightly darker, I think, or is it lighter? I can't remember. Slightly different shade, very slight though. So I did quite well finding paint that similar. And I've sprayed the sealer as well, and it's currently drying as I talk. And it looks pretty okay as a repair. It looks pretty good. So it's obviously no longer, you know, a mint or near mint edition, but it's still quite neat and much better than it was with that bloody paint bit removed. So that was my cock up of the week. If you ever made a cock up on anything on trying to restore something, just let us know. I'd love to know, find out if it's not just me who makes mistakes. But you live and learn, don't you? And I've learnt a lesson that with silver silver paint on plastic rather, don't touch it. You know, you've got to be it's so delicate. It's not like silver plastic itself or other things. You know, silver paint is very, very fragile, and it's not easy to patch up at all. And so if you've got a silver PS2 and it's in reasonable condition, just dust it and do nothing else to it. That's my tip to you. And don't try to take out scratches because you will just make it worse. Okay, so I'll show you guys that console in my next video probably. So until then, bye.